Good morning, everybody. I hope you've all had a fantastic week. If you have been listening to or watching the news this week, you will have heard that the guidance for reopening schools in September has been published, and I'm very busy highlighting and reading through that carefully to make sure that we are doing everything to prepare and be ready to welcome you back in September. We are busy preparing resources, classrooms, making sure that we get the staffing right. And in the next week or so, you will receive a letter explaining to you who your class teacher will be and how all of that will work. Okay, so I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. We are very, very busy getting all of that prepared. We've also been having lots of discussions here at school, and some of the discussions have been around being as excellent as we can when we reopen. And we've been talking about what is good learning and what is good teaching, because both of those things go hand in hand. And we've also been talking about how to up-level the good teaching to exceptionally good teaching and good learning to exceptionally good learning. Making sure that we're ready to give you the best possible learning package that we can. And somebody else that tries to be exceptionally good is a little mouse in the book that I'm going to read to you today. And it's one of my favourites to read to my children at home. It's called The Lion Inside by Rachel Bright and Jim Field. In a dry, dusty place where the sand sparkled gold, stood a mighty flat rock, all craggy and old. And under that rock, in a tiny full house, lived the littlest, quietest, meekest brown mouse. He was so very tiny, so incredibly small, that nobody noticed him, ever, at all. Hello! Ow! Ouch! He got trod on and sat on and missed out for stuff, ignored and forgotten. Yes, mouse life was tough. Meanwhile, far above, on top of the rock, times were quite different. It was lion o'clock. This huge, toothsome creature made sure everyone saw how important he was by how loud he could roar. He was head of the pack. He was shouty and tough. He loved showing the crowd. He was made of strong stuff. Yes, all were impressed by this mighty king cat. If only, thought Mouse, I could be more like that. Then late one dark night in his Minnie Mouse bed, the cleverest thought popped into his head. He jumped from the covers and held up a paw. I've got it, he said. What I need is a roar. I mean, what if this mouse with the weeniest squeak was a little more grrr and a little less meek? Well, he'd still be the smallest of fuzzy brown mice, but he'd make friends and join in. And life would be nice. Yes, thought the mouse, I must find out how. I will learn how to roar, and I will learn it now. But, oh my gosh, there was only one beast who could teach him this thing, but might make him a feast. It was time to be strong, take a chance. After all, forever was such a long time to feel small. I wonder if you've ever taken the time to be strong and take a chance. So he made himself brave, and he thought like a winner. He set off for the top, hoping not to be dinner. It felt like the scariest thing he could do, but if you want things to change, you first have to change you. The further he climbed, the closer he got to the slumbering lion reclining on top. Then, at last, as he stood on his tippity toes, he found himself suddenly nose to nose. Pardon me. Wake up, Mr. Lion. You've got company.
Squeak, Mr. Lion, what I've come to you for is, Squeak, do you think you could teach me your roar?
He's a brave mouse. A silence befell that twinkling plain. Lion opened his eyes and puffed out his mane. Time slowed right down. Why, it felt like a week. Then he opened his mouth and let out an...
The lion was shaking, his paws all a fumble. He was backing away with a scrambling tumble. Don't hurt me, he whimpered. Oh, try to be nice. Well, my goodness, this lion was frightened of mice. Don't worry, Mouse peeped. I'm a friend, not a foe. Let's rock this together. We'll have fun, don't you know?
That was a magical moment for sure, when Mouse didn't feel at all small anymore. He found his true voice and learned to speak out, and for that you don't need to roar or to shout. And from that day and always, the two were a pair. They both liked that rock better, now that rock was to share. The mouse, while still little, felt big in his head. And Lion, he still roared, but with laughter instead. Yes, that day they both learned that no matter your size, we all have a mouse and a lion inside. And I hope over the weekend and during next week, you find the chance to allow your voice be heard, to make those magical moments in your life to be as excellent as you possibly can. That book always makes me feel good. We cannot wait to see you all. We're getting closer and closer and closer. And in the next couple of weeks, we'll share as much information as we can with you about your classes, about your teachers, and about how all of that will work. There will be some updates in the summer, I believe, coming from the government. So as things are kind of tweaked and changed, obviously I'll share all of those things with you so you know exactly what's happening. So make sure you have a good think about what you think good teaching and learning is, and how we can be good learners and good teachers for each other in our lives to make sure we're as excellent as we possibly can. Take care, have a lovely weekend, and please keep safe. Bye-bye.